Tamia, thank you for joining me. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, I know you are a busy sophomore in high school between studying. I believe you run track
hmm
and then you also run a business. So I'm excited to speak with you about everything that you're doing. So thank you for again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you are in St. Louis, Missouri, one of my favorite cities. I have memories of the spaghetti factory from years and years ago
hmm
and bubblegum ice cream, where I first had bubblegum ice cream.
hmm Bubblegum ice cream. I like it. It seems like it would be weird at first.
hmm
When I actually had it, I liked it. It was good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, like I said, you are our first youth entrepreneur to join us on Diaspora Food Stories. So, congratulations. And
Thank you.
that's important as well because this podcast is not just about, older generations that are continue to pass down our stories, but you being young are creating those that are going to be passed down as well. So, it's very important that we get them in all stages of everyone's life. So let's sort of get into it because you started your business, Maya's Treats Delight, at 8 years old. What was going on at 8 years old that you told your parents you wanted to start a business?
So I started Mia Sheets Delight in 2015.
Okay.
I've always loved baking.
Mhm.
I've been baking since I was around like 4 with my
And
grandma.
who taught you? Okay, your grandmother. Okay.
hmm Um, and I've been cooking with my mom since I was like 5. So
Wow.
I like basically grew up in the kitchen. So I've always had like a love for food and just being in the kitchen in general. The kitchen is like my happy space. Um, and so in third grade, I was 8 years old. I took an economics class.
Oh,
Um,
in eighth grade. I don't remember that.
um, and after that class was over, I walked up to my mom, who had always told me to like be my own boss when I became an adult, and
Mhm.
I told her that I didn't want to wait until I was an adult to start my
Mm.
business, and then I wanted to start it then. So,
Wow. Now, when it comes to cooking, was it just because you were spending time with grandma and mom, or did you really like, oh my goodness, I love this taste. I love mixing. What was that really like captured you?
so I can't really remember too much since I was
Hmm
4, but I believe it started off this time with them, and then like it grew into something that I really liked doing. Because I still like doing it today. I
hmm
love food, making it and eating it. And um, like I just love like making stuff. Like I do art too, so it's like
Okay.
I just like making things. I like using my hands.
Awesome. Awesome. And so obviously you are learning things from scratch. I mean, I was an adult learning stuff from scratch, but you started off with the cookies and the brownies from scratch. And so as with baking being such a science, right? It's not like you can do a pinch of this and a pinch of that. How was that for you, being young and being to say, you know what, this really needs to be so precise when you're baking?
I've actually always been like that.
Okay.
Even with like stuff out of the box, I follow recipes very closely. Um, so like when it comes to like measurements, the measurement has always had to be exact for me. Like my
hmm
mom is that like a little bit of this, a little bit of that type person.
hmm
I've never been able to actually do that. Um, so I think it's just like something. It's just how I've always been, and then like also I'm like naturally really good at math.
Okay.
So like math and science, those are my two favorite subjects in school. Um,
Wow.
so like the numbers bit is like kind of second nature for me.
So is that what maybe drew you to the sweet side versus the savory?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what was the first thing that you did by yourself, basically with grandma or mom not really assisting you?
Um, I think my cupcakes probably
Okay.
so I started my business with cupcakes.
Okay.
Um, and then after I learned how to make those are probably the first things from scratch that I did by myself.
hmm
Um, Learning how to make them, that was my mentor who taught me.
Okay.
And so after she taught me initially, I was pretty much making it myself.
Wow. Now, do you come from a family of entrepreneurs?
Not that I believe so, no. But my mom did used to babysit when she was a kid, so I guess
Okay.
that.
Okay. So then, how did you come up with the name? I mean, I know it's sort of your namesake, but what were you thinking when you, because that's the fun part of starting a business, right?
Um, so I didn't really think about it too much, honestly.
Okay.
It was I was like I had a process. I was like, okay, so my name is Mia. I went by Mia back then. So
Hmm.
my name is Mia. What am I making? I'm making desserts. So treat. And then how do I feel about it? I think they're delightful. So Mia's treats delight. We'll go with that.
Wow. Now, okay, so then the next step, right? Because starting a business that's the fun part of it,
Mhm.
right? So now it's getting into registering it and all that good jazz, and then eventually filing taxes. So was that a process that you and your mom went through to make sure that this is a, legitimate business?
Yeah. So like in the very beginning, we didn't really know too much about it. So it
Okay.
was really us learning as we went, and as we learned stuff, we would go and like get that done.
Hmm.
Like learning about like business licenses and all of that. So all of that is um, like we have that all under our belt now.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the very very beginning, we didn't have that at first because we didn't know. Um,
Right.
so it was all about just like learning. We've been
Trial and error,
yeah.
right? Just like the rest of us.
Mhm.
Now, when you started Mia's your business, what was the vision? When you said, I don't want to wait till I'm an adult to work for myself, what did you have in mind?
Um, Really, I wanted to help people. So like in
Okay.
addition to like being in the kitchen, I grew up like walking the streets of downtown, passing out like clothes and toys, trees and food to the
Okay.
homeless. Because
Wow.
my mom used to like set up those types of events, um,
Mm-hmm.
like go out there and pass things out. And so she would always bring me, and so I would see them. I would see like the homeless people on the street, and I would like it would make me really upset because I would be questioning like, why don't these people have a place to call home like I do?
Right.
Um, and so like when I started my business, I was like, okay, not only do I want to like make my own rules and like make my own money and all of this, all the perks that come with being a business owner, but like I also want to use my business to help these people.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my main goals has always been to help the homeless, and so we're gonna start doing cupcake decorating classes, cupcake and cookie decorating.
Nice.
And so whenever somebody pays for a ticket to take one of those classes, they're automatically sponsoring a kid in a homeless shelter.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, marketing. What was the marketing plan? Who were your target customers?
So right now, my target customers are like women between the ages of like 35 to like 44 ish.
Okay.
Um, usually with like usually their moms. So it's like usually them who like buy cookies either for like family functions or
Mm-hmm.
a cake for the kid's birthday or something like that. Um, and we use a lot of like social media, and
Okay.
so using like analytics and stuff.
Okay, so really, like you said, getting into the numbers because you
Mhm.
like and a business is about numbers, right? You can be a great cook, a great baker, but if you're not selling, covering costs and all of that stuff, something doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So definitely learning all of that.
Mhm.
And then what about like at your school? I mean, are there opportunities where you've got some of your classmates ordering or teasing them, taking those to school?
Definitely. An example today, actually, I brought a bag full of boxes. I had like 10 boxes maybe.
Hmm.
By the time I got to lunch, I had around like 8 or 9. And one person walked up to me. I had just gotten to my table and I hadn't even like gotten my food yet, but like
Hmm.
I had went to my table first to put my stuff down, and one person walked up to me and asked about buying, and so I went in the bag and like got their stuff. By the time I looked back up, there were like 4, 3, 4, or 5 people behind them, like standing in line. waiting to buy stuff.
Wow.
So I'm I've realized that a lot of people know me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
realize it, but they know me for my cookies. So like the people will randomly walk up to me and be like, "Are you the one that sell cookies?" And I'm like, "Yes." So yeah, I do a lot of
Wow.
stuff at school with my cookies.
Wow. Amazing. So let's get into it. What are some of your specialties?
So my cookies are my bestseller. Um, in specifics, I have to say the chocolate chip pecan, cookies and cream, birthday, and Cinnaddoodle. Those are probably
Mm,
my five biggest.
okay.
Um, and then right after those five would have to be turtle. Um,
Oh,
I'm me personally, I'm not the biggest nut fan, so
okay.
I can't really say anything about personal opinions for the chocolate chip pecan and the turtle, but I do know they're good. Um, got a lot of people to vouch for them, so but my three favorites are the birthday cookies and cream and cinnamon. Those are my three favorites.
Now, how often are you creating and getting in the kitchen and saying, you know what, I'm going to bring a new cookie, or you've had something out, or you've seen something and that has inspired you to create?
We see a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is like I can just scroll through Instagram and see so much food, and I'm just like, I'll make that. I'll try
Right.
that. Ooh, that
Right.
looks good. Ooh.
Okay.
um, so we in the last 2 years, it's been pretty consistent. We'll add at least one or two new flavors every year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it really just depends. Sometimes we'll add more like throughout the year. Sometimes it's like a set amount. But yeah,
What about the holidays? Business pickup around the holidays?
definitely. And we do have like moderation, like different versions of some of my cookies for like
Mm-hmm.
holidays. So like for Valentine's Day, my birthday cookies, instead of just like rainbow sprinkles, it was like pink, red, and white sprinkles.
Okay.
For our Halloween, we did orange cream for the cookies and cream, and the um, orange cream for the birthday, I believe.
Okay. Now, at any time, it's been 8 years, right? Was there any time that you're like, you know what, this was fun, but I want to, do some more things that my friends are doing and I don't want to run a business? Or have you been really pretty much consistent?
Um, so I've always wanted to stick with my business, but there was a time like not too long after I started my business. It wasn't that I wanted to do stuff like that my friends were doing. It was
Mm-hmm.
like I got that's when I like really started to pick up like attention, and so like stuff people were like ordering a lot, and so I kind of got a little overwhelmed.
Okay.
But that's when my mom kind of stepped in,
Okay.
like really started helping me. And so I've been going ever since. And I don't plan on not running my business until like
Awesome.
I pass it down to my kids or something.
Wow. Now, I know college is in the future for you, or is
Well,
it culinary school? Or what are you thinking? What do you want to do? Or
so
do you want to go to college?
I haven't fully decided yet.
Okay. Okay.
But I do know if I do go to college, I am majoring in business and minor
Okay.
in art.
Okay.
And then either that or culinary school,
Okay.
or I've found out that I can do both. So
Got it.
I have a few options that I'm kind of going back and forth with, but I haven't made like a solid decision
Okay. And so if you're looking 5 years from now, where do you see Mia's Treats Delight? Where do you see the company?
yet. um, what year is this? 2023, 2028. I see myself. Um, I would say nationwide, but I already ship like from coast to coast.
Okay.
But I do see myself with like buildings throughout the country.
So you want a brick and mortar?
I do.
Okay.
Brick and mortar is something that we're kind of pushing out further into the future though, just
Okay.
to like avoid overhead costs. So
Yeah.
we're focusing on getting a food truck right now,
Hmm.
which is something we're raising money for. Um, and so I want to start with a food truck and then use the money that I make from the food truck to save for a brick and mortar. And then
Nice.
after that brick and mortar, I do want to start expanding throughout the country with more. And then after that, I want to eventually go international.
Nice, nice. Now, in terms of, do you see yourself on a baking competition for kids or youth? What do you see in terms of that reality culinary shows?
I actually was close to being on one some
Okay,
years ago,
okay.
but I ended up not making the cut. But it was it was a good experience. It was
And
nice.
not yet. There's still opportunity.
Yeah, there's still time. But it was back then. It was a good like experience just to see what like, the interviewing process is like. Um, so I got to take that and like move on and like
Mhm.
just with that knowledge of like and that experience. So
Got it. Now, what has being in business, especially young, taught you about life? Maybe few life lessons, and then what are some business lessons that you've learned?
um, I've learned not to take no too heavily.
Okay.
I've learned that like oh, you get a lot of no's, but with all of those no's, eventually does come a yes.
Okay.
Um, so not to take those no's to heart and just know that you will get a yes eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that patience is key with a lot. Um, and business lessons, being confident in yourself, and your abilities and what you do, um, and like not letting anybody not letting anybody question you, but like not letting anybody get under your skin to where you're
Hmm.
questioning yourself and like what you're doing.
Got it. Nice, nice. Now, do you have other classmates that have businesses? Whether it doesn't have to be food or anything, but do you have some friends that maybe you guys are bouncing off ideas or, have that sort of business circle going on?
I actually am taking entrepreneurship right now, so I'm in an
Nice.
entrepreneurship class. So I've actually found a few people who like run businesses or like
Hmm.
are planning on starting a business. Like there's one kid in my entrepreneurship class who like wants to do photography.
Nice.
There's a kid who wants to model. So I've seen a lot of different things like in that class and a lot of different ideas. And I think it's like a really cool group of kids, a really cool class.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so as you look, you said you want to grow out, you're already shipping nationally. You want to, make sure you're good and solid there in St. Louis and then branch nationally and then branch internationally. Where are you thinking when you go international?
Paris.
Okay.
So I went to Paris back in 2019.
Nice.
And Paris is like my dream trip since I was like 6. I was like, I walked up to my mom, I was like, I want to go to Paris. And she was like, do you have Paris money? And I was like, "Mm, but I want to go.
Mhm.
And so I was able to actually pay for my own trip in 2019. So like being able to like take my dream trip and like cross off all the things on my to try list while I was there was like
Mhm.
really cool. And like Paris is known for their pastries and
Yes.
breads and all of that. And so like being there as a baker was like dream come true. I was
And you were in
very
heaven.
blood while I was there. And so honestly, I can't wait to go back. It was so fun. But that is one place that I really do want to expand into.
Okay. So what's on your goal list for 2023? What would you like to accomplish in your business this year?
Well, there's something that we're working on. I can't really announce it yet,
All right.
but stay tuned on my social media, and I will be announcing it.
And
Hopefully,
and we'll get your social media handle at the end so people can follow you. So very exciting.
yep. And then I'm also, like I said earlier, I'm raising money for my food truck,
Hmm.
and I do hopefully plan to have that by the end of 2023.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, raising money for my food truck, and then the project that we're working on that I can't announce yet. But I
Oh,
to announce.
very, very exciting. Very exciting. Well, anything else? Let's talk about some of the awards because you have definitely received awards for just your work that you're doing with youth and definitely inspiring others. So tell us about those.
So yeah, I've won a Youth Entrepreneur Award. I over I earned an award for like what I'm doing in my community. Um, basically like a lot of like youth entrepreneur and like philanthropy work awards.
Hmm.
Sorry, but like I'm honestly like so honored. I'm very humble when it comes to like what I'm doing in my business.
Hmm.
So like being able to be like awarded and like applauded for
And
this.
people see you and see your work what you're doing.
Mhm. Yes.
That is definitely amazing.
And then also in 2020, I was one of the 25 Young Futurists for the ROOT,
Nice.
along with Michaela Omer and Lil Nas X and
Nice.
well, and I was just looking through the list, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on this list with these people. um, so that was really exciting for me. And it was amidst quarantine, so it was like something really exciting in like some a very bad situation, I guess. Um, so yeah,